for refugees, where we raised money and medicines and containers of stuff to take down to New Orleans. So I'm just going to read you a little bit of a visit that I had. Is that cool? To the shelter. What could I tell you? I'll just start here. I am a poet. I entered through an exit. I brought with me my ancestry and the knowledge that displacement happens internally and externally, within countries, within bodies. The River Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, has several shelters set up within it. The one I entered did not allow cameras. We weren't allowed in at all, actually. We said we were press. We were pressed. An evacuee outside watching a TV set up by TV people said, "Just tell them you live here. You don't really need no wristband." I followed her lead. The lights are bright, the noise a constant din. A loudspeaker announces things no one understands. People are set up by exits, by communal televisions. Girls are placed in the center of groups of tired adults. There are sick people. There are women who are trading what they have for extra food and blankets. I am a poet, I said to the Haitian woman folding and refolding her clothes. A classmate had molested her 8-year-old daughter on the school bus earlier in the day. I asked the pretty brown girl with 6 braids blooming out of her head if she screamed. "I don't know how to scream," she said. "A woman has to know how to scream," I told her. Her mother nodded. The father is still in Algiers. You know, there's a West Bank and an Algiers in New Orleans. I asked the mother if they'd heard the mayor's announcement early yesterday that Algiers would be open on Monday. She hadn't. "Oh, thank you. Thank God." A Red Cross worker came over to our huddle. The boy, who wouldn't stop touching the girl, would be put on a different bus, but he and his family are still in the shelter. "What is your name again?" she asked the mother. "I told you so many times," she gritted Creole. A 3-year-old girl with cavity teeth and a runny nose took my hand. Kamani. Her mother was folding and refolding her clothes. Her 13-year-old sister taught me a game of cards called Pity Pat. The family is from Jefferson Parish. She cried so easy, like curtains gathered back to view a storm. Kamani is by her mother's leg, rubbing it with no words. The girl looks into me and I give her some of my soul willingly. All the while she is rubbing her mother's leg. They have been here for 2 weeks. I leave with Kamani a pretty yellow luggage tag shaped like a chick. I tell her to write her name in the lines and her address and attach it to her things now, so when she goes home, it can look official. Next to this family is another one. Next to that one is another one. Next to this one is that one. There are pregnant women here. One from Honduras is due in a week. Her belly is pressing against her shirt as if to breathe. She has been here since August 31st. This is September 15th. My sister is pregnant, I tell her. How many months? Just 1. She says the baby is the size of a rice in the sonogram. We laugh. People are so relieved to laugh, it is painful. Mrs. and Mr. Brown never thought they would ever be in a shelter. He is 82 years old. She gently warns him not to say her age. Then she says she's just a few years behind him. Black don't crack and brown don't frown, I say to them. Their laugh is a surprise. I was born and reared in New Orleans, she says. I left my car parked in the street. I thought I'd be back. Her home of 37 years is in Mid-City. I never ever thought I'd be in a shelter. Trina is scrubbing her white Nike sneakers, her hair half braided, her lip gloss thick. When I ask her, "Can I sit down?" She finally tracked down her 2 children last week. "Girl, I'm fine now." Around her are diapers and bottles which she brought with her thinking her kids would be close by. There is every age here, every hunger. There is no privacy. The showers are outside in tents, and there are no more than 5 minutes long from walking in with your clothes on to walking out into the street. There are monitors who shout down the seconds, so no one takes longer than the allotted time. There are 3 or 4 people in there at a time. Willis is dressed fly. Of course, he is from Brooklyn. Of course, he got game and wants to pick me up in the shelter. Then he begins to talk about the flood. Then he begins to say very carefully, know what I mean? There is something more than storm that killed folk. Know what I mean? We could see water so high right here in one section. Know what I mean? And right there where the other income folk live, know what I mean? It was dry as nothing. Know what I mean? Everyone I spoke to believes the levees were not destroyed by the storm. So that's from my journal. This is on refuge and language. I do not wish to place words in living mouths or bury the dead dishonorably. I am not deaf to cries escaping shelters that citizens are not refugees. Refugees are not Americans. I will not use language, one way or another, to accommodate my comfort. I will not look away. All I know is this: no peoples ever choose to claim status of dispossessed. No peoples want pity above compassion. No enslaved peoples ever called themselves slaves. What do we pledge allegiance to? A government that leaves its old to die of thirst surrounded by water is a foreign government. People who are streaming illiterate into paperwork have long ago been abandoned. I think of coded language and all that words carry on their backs. I think of how it is always the poor who are tagged and boxed with labels not of their own choosing. I think of my grandparents and how some called them refugees, others called them non-existent. They called themselves landless, which means homeless. Before the hurricane, no tents were prepared for the fleeing because Americans do not live in tents. Tents are for Haiti, for Bosnia, for Rwanda. Refugees are the rest of the world, those left to defend their human decency against conditions the rich keep their animals from, those who have too many children, those who always have open hands and empty bellies, those whose numbers are massive, those who seek refuge from nature's currents and man's resources, those who are forgotten in the mean times, those who remember. Ahmad from Guinea makes my falafel sandwich and says, "So, this is your country?" Yes, Amadou, this my country, and these my people, adamant they belong, evacuated as if criminal, rescued by neighbors, shot by soldiers, adamant they belong. The rest of the world can now see what I have seen. Do not look away. The rest of the world lives here too, in America. Woo! You're good? This lady over here was asking me about a washroom early. I didn't know what that meant. Where is she? That means bathroom, right? She kept pointing and saying wash something. I was like, what? So I'm sorry, wherever you are. I hope you went. A poem for June Jordan. What I will not dance to your war drum. I will not lend my soul nor my bones to your war drum. I will not dance to your beating. I know that beat. It is lifeless. I know intimately that skin you are hitting. It was alive once, hunted, stolen, stretched. I will not dance to your drummed up war. I will not pop, spin, break for you. I will not hate for you or even hate you. I will not kill for you. Especially, I will not die for you. I will not mourn the dead with murder nor suicide. I will not side with you or dance to bombs because everyone is dancing. Everyone can be wrong. Life is a right, not collateral or casual. I will not forget where I come from. I will craft my own drum. Gather my beloved near and our chanting will be dancing. Our humming will be drumming. I will not be played. I will not lend my name nor my rhythm to your beat. I will dance and resist and dance and persist and dance. This heartbeat is louder than death. Your war drum ain't louder than this breath. The poet June Jordan visited Sabra and Shatila after the massacres there and wrote a poem called Moving Towards Home. And the end of the poem says, I was born a black woman and am now become a Palestinian against the relentless laughter of evil. There is less and less